Hello, welcome to the Articulate Outburst podcast. We're going through the album. I won't labour the point. This is Snowflake. When this originally came about, myself and the educator, that's the rhythm guitarist, were in his room, and I said, look, all the songs need to have a variation. We need to kind of do a different genre of music from what we normally do, or put our spin on a different genre of music. Looking back through all the old punk albums, The Clash, I suppose you could argue the Police were slightly punky when they first started, all had a reggae beat, and if you go back through Don Letts and his influence in punk and an influence of a hell of a lot of bands at that time, reggae played a major part in that kind of building of the punk culture. So what we decided to do, we're trying to put a reggae track together, or a reggae bass track, and again, you know, we're not musicians, well, guitarist is, I'm not a musician, this is the only musical kind of thing I've ever put together other than the odd drunken karaoke romp for an AC/DC song, the only one I could sing. So this is Snowflake. Again, obviously Snowflake's it's an easy target for those that perhaps are easily shocked or easily worried, or, you know, call for curtails for free speech and, you know, want to be cuddled. It's not their fault. I think that they've just been raised that way. I blame the education system. We used to have to debate the opposite political view to our own at school. So if you were a Conservative, you had to debate as a Labour voter or as a Labour candidate and vice versa. And this allowed you to form your own opinions and get out of that echo chamber. It's very, very good if you look at the opposing argument to your own. I think it's a healthy option, because how will you know that you're right if you don't know what the opposition points are? And I find that quite a lot of the time now you get, oh, you can't talk about it. Oh, why can't we talk about that? First thing you're going to do is someone says, don't talk about it, you're going to talk about it. There's an entire, certainly a generational thing. When they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to hear it, they stick their fingers in their ears, pretend it's not happening. And this really is, to them, this is Snowflake. So again, it'd be rude not to put a Snowflake on an album. But again, here we go. So this is Snowflake. I think it's particularly skilled, and again, a tip in our hat to the previous punk generation and obviously to the reggae influence on that. And before we get going there, you can hear the guitar beats, the drums, and then you can hear that bass comes in quite cheekily. I often say you can't really hear the bass on a lot of stuff because I just think it enriches the rest of the music. But you can just hear that cheeky bass coming in there before lead guitar. Got to say about lead guitar, again, I've told you before, he's the most annoying man in band practice, but when he does find that chord, he does find that chord, and never more so than on this. So the opening chorus, obviously, with it being Snowflake, it's centred around the seasons, starts off in autumn. Obviously it's getting a bit chilly, it's getting kind of to the time where you're going to be kind of heading into winter, the pantheon, if you like, for the subject matter of the song. So obviously autumn's here, get ready, there we go. So a little bit of an unimaginative chorus there. There's a reason behind that. It's Snowflake, Snowflake, just 'cause you're a snowflake. It's kind of a little bit of a dig, but ultimately it's an unimaginative chorus, and there's a reason for that. It's when the chorus comes back in next time, it's a slightly elongated version of it, so that chorus is more of a teeing it up. So obviously we're now into winter. Just make sure kind of laziness of the drums coming back in there. I just think it holds together, it shows some great musicianship, certainly more rhythmic than pretty much every other one of our songs. And for once, to not just hear the music as one sound, but to hear the individual sounds within that coming at you, it's quite nice to see. You can hear the bass over there, you can hear the drums over there, you can hear the whining guitar. There is a slight effect on there with the kind of lead guitar, which you can probably hear the little tremble. But again, you can literally hear all of us in our own right on this. So obviously now we're into spring, so we've gone through the autumn, into winter where it's cold and a little bit bravery. Now it's into autumn, so we'll start seeing the snowflakes start to fall apart. You look a little weak, boy. Bombs at behind you don't really freeze, boy. Sun's coming back, you're just holding on, boy. Your argument's gone, you're melting away, boy. I quite like that really. We've all been in them spring mornings where there's just that little bit of frost on the ground still, where the sun hasn't quite cleared the grass in a little divot, and you know when you walk through it, it just turns to dew on your shoes. So more poetic than we ever thought we were, but you know, kind of sets the scene that spring day, winter's behind us. Yeah, it's a little bit frosty, but it's not as frosty as it used to be. Snowflake, snowflake. Snowflake. And as if by magic, on a spring morning, the sun's come out just to accentuate the point. Thanks very much. Brilliant timing. There we go. Just had to mention that. Here we are. Summer's here, it's hot outside, boy. Harsh words, you're melting away, boy. What's with the story? No backbone, boy. Mouth and trousers, you're a boy. Just got to love that guitar slide in there. He loves to play that live. He loves to play that live as the rhythm guitarist, the educator. Yeah, he shows off with that one, and rightly so. It's perfect for that part of the song. Snowflake, snowflake. Just cause you're a snowflake, never challenge me. You run away from me. You hide away from me. You're melting can't you see? And to all intents and purposes, the song's kind of over at that point. We've done autumn, winter, spring, summer, turned into a pool of water. A little bit of tongue-in-cheek there. There's no real malice, bit of piss-taking at best. And the kind of song is over, and when we play it live, you generally get people clapping at this stage in the game, thinking the song is over. But then in true Articulate Outburst style, should I say, we were never going to leave it like that. When everybody walks off into the sunset, we're always going to smash it to bits, which is why we stuck this on at the end. Kind of ended it there. So yeah, it's quite good. We sometimes leave that pause between the end of the song and the start of the fast version of it a little bit longer, tease the audience a little bit. You have to come and see us. What we're lacking what we're lacking musical style, we certainly make up for in intensity. We can play, and you'd be more than welcome to come to any gigs that we've got lined up. Next one's 22nd of April down at the Primrose in Leeds, if you want to make it. We've also got one in July in Macclesfield, which I'll give a little bit more information on. Obviously we're chasing a guest spot at both Rebellion and at Glastonbury, so I'll keep you posted on that. If you could ring the bell, if you could subscribe, if you could share, press the like button, try to get this shared out as much as possible. Obviously from a kind of YouTube point of view, this is both music and politics, which is interesting, and obviously I think I've mentioned before, there are many YouTubers on here who I've shared my politics on, to mention no names at all. Not so much reflecting their views, but they certainly taught me how to think and how to look. And my contribution from a non-musician point of view when this project started was to kind of perhaps pick a different way in which I could get my message across. A little bit more blunter, less nuanced, certainly not as intellectual as those others, but it still has its place. It has its place, if you like. Thanks very much for listening. It's been just thanks for listening, thanks for your support. Any comments, just either comment on the video or email me. No, email's in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks again.